Right, this is Rachel Eck, and here is my Step 3 unit plan. It's for my geometry class, and we're just talking about the unit of right triangles and trigonometry. So in my geometry, I have 9th through 12th grade. My Common Core standards, there's 3 of them that align with this unit. And my objectives, I have 6 objectives here that I need them to master. One's comprehension, I have 1 application, 3 analysis, and then 1 synthesis, level of Bloom's taxonomy. So by the end of this unit, they're going to learn the relative terms opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse, and that's going to help them understand sine, cosine, and tangent vocabulary terms. They're going to then apply that knowledge to solve for a missing side in a triangle when the problem gives 1 acute angle and 1 other side length. They're also going to learn to apply inverse trig ratios to find a missing acute angle when the problem only gives them side lengths. So these are the foundational skills, and then they're going to use those skills to analyze and solve real-world problems by drawing a picture. My grading rubric. So for each of my 6 objectives, I have a mastery, proficient, developing, and beginning. The beginning is very basic. The mastery is they're basically doing everything correctly and above and beyond what I expect them to do. Here is a copy of the test, so the final assessment to see if they've met that mastery level that I was talking about. It's 23 questions, and the way I do my test is if it takes me 15 minutes, then it should take them the full hour. Here is a self-assessment, which I would have them do at the end of the unit to see, did they do their best on homework, assignment, and completion? How was their behavior and attitudes? How did that affect their score? Did they use any accommodations? Did they use me? And then meeting the objectives. So these are questions that they can ask themselves. And then more feedback on their self-reflection and what can they do to improve in the future. And then I'd obviously write my comments in there and pass it back to them. So mapping out the days, it's about a 10-day unit. So day 1 is the basic trig ratios. I'm going to show a little video to kind of walk them through this TI Inspire app that we're going to use on the iPads. That's a little handout. So Texas Instrument came up with this. Actually, Texas Instrument has a lot of really good resources for math out there that I like to use. So here's the source for that website. After they watch that video, then I'm going to give them the handout, and it's basically a discovery activity that they're going to do on their own, in groups of 3. And then at the end, we're going to join as a whole class and kind of summarize our findings and define those 3 vocab words that they were learning during that activity. Day 2, I'll have a QR code up and then a scavenger hunt taped around the room. So with their iPads, they're going to scan that QR code. It's going to take them to this website, and it's a little mini golf game asking them questions about yesterday's findings. And then we're going to do 8 problems from the scavenger hunt around the room. So they'll solve a problem, and that answer is going to be on another card around the room. That's the next problem that they have to do. Day 3, we move on to solving right triangles. So we're going to need iPads for this. I'll discuss with them inverse trig ratios and how they're used and how they're related to what we did the 2 prior days. They're very intricately related, not intricately, but they're closely related. So I just need to go over that in a little lecture. And then they're going to use their iPads to practice on IXL Math. It's another really good resource. It has any math topic you could think of, practice problems. So there's the website for that. Down here on day 4, we're going to do more practice with solving right triangles, more practice with those inverse trig functions. Again, we're going to need the iPads, and I have a classroom set of 15 iPads, so I'm very thankful for that. But they can also use their phone and go to join.quizzes.com. I use Quizzes a lot in here. It's 10 times better than Kahoot if you've ever played Kahoot. I'll have my class code up on the board, and then they're going to do that quizzes activity that I had created by clicking on this link. And then at the end of the quizzes, we're going to discuss how the Pythagorean theorem, which they've already learned before in a previous chapter, can be used in problems like these, and how the triangle sum theorem, which says that all three angles in a triangle must add up to 180 degrees. So moving on to day 5 is the last topic, angles of elevation and depression. I have 5 stations around the room, and I'm going to need expo markers, but I will model how to set up a real-world example and draw a picture using that strategy. So they're going to get in groups of 5, and I spread out these 5 stations along my 2 whiteboards, and they work on my whiteboards on this problem for about 4.5 minutes, and then I'll say rotate. After I've checked every answer, they'll go to the next one, and we'll just rotate as a class. So day 6 is an actual hands-on activity, and we're going to discuss how stairways, how they have different angles of elevation, and talk about the steepness of stairs. So I have think questions, which are at the bottom of this document that they answer, and then we're going to go out into the hall, and they're going to go to find 2 stairwells in the school and calculate their angles of elevation using what they know about right triangles. So I also have the recording sheet at the end of this document too. Day 7 is a review game. There's a game on Teachers Pay Teachers that I bought, and it's pretty cool. But I just have all the game pieces, and then they get in groups of 4, and it asks them a bunch of different questions about the unit, and it's super helpful. And then day 8 will obviously assess. So here's the Texas Instrument discovery activity that they will fill out on day 1. And then here are those 5 word problems that they do on the whiteboards. Here are the think questions for the stairway activity. Here's the stairway recording sheet. And that's basically my unit video for trig ratios, but I think this unit is a lot more beefed up now and a lot more interactive and a lot less lecturing, which I think math really needs to get away from, but I'm excited to implement this next year. I think it'll be really good, and I can't wait to see how it runs and adjust it if need be.